We are getting spicy here. Waiting for it to say we're good to go. And bing, bang, baby, boom, boom. We are here and ready to rock and roll here. Hey guys, how you going today? I'm BK Sport. We are here for the final group preview of the Rugby League World Cup. We've already been through Group A. We've been through Group B and Group C. Now, we finally get to a really interesting group. And actually, for me, one of the more interesting groups of the lot. A lot of people are saying, that New Zealand group, or, a lot of people are saying the England group with Samoa, but I actually am really looking forward to seeing what this group, Group D, has to offer. We've got a big bopper in Tonga. We've got a really, really solid team in Papua New Guinea. Cook Islands, who are trying to make a name for themselves, and also Wales, who is a bit of the unknown. They have a lot of players in the Super League and lower divisions. Really hard to read how they're going to go. But obviously, if you don't know how we do these previews, guys, basically we go through every single team. We do an analysis of them. We look at the players that are heading to the World Cup. We try our best to get and put together what kind of team they'll be looking at. The good thing is that we've obviously seen Tonga play. I didn't get to see the Wales game last night. I think they played Lebanon. Papua New Guinea haven't played and Cook Islands haven't played. We won't actually have a good idea about those two teams just yet. But specifically with Wales and Tonga, we at least have an idea based on who they put in their warm-up game last night, when obviously Tonga did win pretty comprehensively, 50-12. But in the same sense, still some concerns there that we'll go over today. Definitely still some concerns there after that result. But the fact of the matter is that it's going to be good here today, guys. So hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for new around here. I will be looking into the chat when I need to, and to get your opinions and your thoughts. Because it's not just all about me here, lads. It's about us and having a voice and both having our opinions. Let's get into it. Actually, let's go have a look here what you guys are saying in the chat here first, actually. Let's go see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's just move this across here first. And let's switch this little bad boy over to here. And there you go. You can see all the groups there. All right. Isaac Lee's, are there any more games on later tonight? There is no games on tonight. No. So 6 days' time, we've got the Rugby League World Cup starting, which is going to be awesome. Mayman says, hey, boys, what's good, mate? Ready to rock and roll. I'm already starting to put myself onto the time frame, the schedule for England. So, obviously, all the games are on at terrible times for the next 2 months with Rugby League and also FIFA. So, I woke up at 4 p.m. today. I woke up at 4 p.m. today because I've got to get myself onto that schedule. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Zane Tipping Kick says, subscribe. Appreciate it, man. Haley Axiom says, let's trot dogs on top. Okay, not playing today. Eggman says, hi, have a mate. Sachin Kelson says, Cook Islands to storm through this group because of their star player, Isan Muppet. He's a Muppet, that bloke. He is. He's a Muppet, that bloke there. But I think that we do get straight into one of the teams here first. So we're probably going to do Tonga last, guys, because obviously the big boppers, usually they take up the most chatting space. So we'll get through these other 3 teams first. Even though one of them is going to have some pretty good chat as well. Actually, you know what? We're going to get into Papua New Guinea first. We are. We're going to get into Papua New Guinea first here, because I'm really looking forward to seeing what Papua New Guinea can do at this tournament. Papua New Guinea are a very strong team. Don't have a great deal of NRL talent here. But the fact of the matter is that they're always giving good opportunities themselves against these lower teams. You wouldn't expect them to beat Australia. They obviously lost to them. I know it was a weakened Papua New Guinea team, but it was also like a C. Australia team, CD, Australia team there, against them in the Australian XIII game. You've got to consider that both those teams were weakened, but that was even more of a weakened Australian side. You still saw the likes of Mackenzie Yeh and whatnot, Jacob Alec, in that PM XIII game for Papua New Guinea. However, a little bit of to and fro does need to be kind of provided there. Look, I'm looking forward to them. I think they're a really, really rock-solid team. And although they don't have the NRL's talent, they have the passion. They have the I'm going to die for Papua New Guinea mentality. We see it with Justin Olam all the time. Unbelievable centre. We just see how hard they run and how hard they tackle. When they played against Fiji and beat them earlier in the season, Fiji were heavy favourites there and lost that game. Papua New Guinea, they're just a really solid team, so don't write them off just yet. But let's go through the team lineup here. Well, the guys that they've sent over. So you got Wellington Albert from the London Broncos over there in the Super League. Jacob Alec from the Gold Coast Titans, playing for, I think, the Burleigh Bears maybe. You got Kevin Apo from Papua New Guinea Hunters. Watson Boas. This guy has been around for about 50 years. This guy is unbelievable. He is still going. The old Watson Boas. You got Xavier Coates from the Melbourne Storm. Eden Agebi from the Townsville Blackhawks. Edwin Ipape from the Lee Centurions. Zay John from the Central Queensland Capras. Alex Johnston from the Rabbitohs, very good winger there. Obviously, topped the try score this year for the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the entire NRL. Also, might end up as the highest try scorer, probably will end up as the highest try scorer of all time in the NRL. So really, really big one there. And he did not play in that mid-season test, I don't believe. Lachlan Lamb from the Lee Centurions. Carl Labert from the Townsville Blackhawks. Nene McDonald, still cracking on here, the old Nene McDonald from the Lee Centurions. Nene McDonald used to play for the Titans and the Cowboys and the Dragons. And now he's at Leeds Enquiries. I didn't even know he's still cracking on. Reece Martin from the Leeds Rhinos. Sylvester Namo from the Papua New Guinea Hunters. Jimmy Nutalik from the Western Suburbs Magpies. Justin Olam, one of the best centres in the game from the Melbourne Storm. Nixon Putt from the Central Queensland Capras. Daniel Russell from the Brisbane Tigers. Jeremiah Simbicken from the Redcliffe Dolphins. Roderick Ty from the Papua New Guinea Hunters. Sherwin Tanabe from the PNG Hunters. Wes Atenza from the PNG Hunters. Emmanuel Wayne from the Papua New Guinea Hunters. And then also my boy, Mackenzie Yeh, Central Queensland Capras. He is such a strong player, man. We saw that against Fiji. It was unbelievable to see him get around there. You know, let's go and have a look at that PMXII game. If we do that, we'll have a pretty decent idea for at least quite a few of the guys that'll be cracking on. Quite a few of the guys that will more than likely be selected in certain areas there. Just go onto the NRL.com website. We'll click onto this one here. So it was 64-14, obviously, to Australia. They did win quite comprehensively there, obviously. But in the same sense, that Papua New Guinea did come back at one stage. We thought around that, as you can see here, the 39, 44, and 54th minute, we saw Papua New Guinea actually start to come back a little bit, which was exciting. But then they fell apart, and from then on, Matt Burton, Sam Walker, Dane Laurie, Bo Furman, and Selwyn Cobbo just went bang, 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 bang. So let's go have a look at the team list here that they put out here. Eden Gebby will probably be their fullback, I would assume that. By the way, David Mead normally would play here, but obviously he's retired now. You got Jimmy Ngutalik and Leon Undapia, so I don't think his name's been named, but he's there, so he'll be on the wing. Brandon Nima and Roderick Ty. You'll have Justin Olam in one of these centres, and you'll have maybe Alex Johnston here. So maybe you'll have Ngutalik and Alex Johnston on the wings with Justin Olam and one of these guys in the centres here, maybe Brandon Nima. You go to the halves there, Judah Rimbu and Carl Labour. You'll probably be seeing, what was the name here? Well, Watson Boas. He's a 7, I believe. Can someone let me know if Watson is a 7? Wonky Donkey TV says, Ipape at Lee been on fire this season. Ipape at Lee. So what position does Ipape play? Because obviously he didn't play in the PMXII game. What position does Ipape play? Lamb will be 7. Oh, Lamb will be 7. Watson Boas? He's been around forever. What position is Watson Boas again? What position is Watson Boas? I'm not too sure. I can't think. I thought he was like in the halves. I'm pretty certain he's in the halves, isn't he? Unless I could be all over the shop. Hooker Ipape. So Ipape will probably be the hooker then, you would probably assume. Even though they had... Oh, but then again, Watovo Puara is their captain, and he is the hooker. So maybe not. I know, that'll be interesting to see, but if what you're saying is right over there in the Super League, with Ipape doing well over there, then maybe he'll get a crack, especially considering it is in England, and the conditions will definitely not suit the Papua New Guinean lifestyle in regards to... Oh, actually, no, it might actually suit him quite well, because they are a really tough team, really solid team, really grindy team, so maybe you might go with an English Super League talent over there, because as we saw yesterday with Fiji versus England, the conditions not great for these island teams. Oh, yeah, Coates and Johnson will be good as a pairing. Yes, Coates and Johnson will be on the wing, sorry. So neither of these guys will be on the wing. Yeah, Xavier Coates and Alex Johnson on the wings. That's a really good wing pairing there. Fullback, I think, will be Eden Gebby, though. I think he will be Eden Gebby. Unless you put Johnson to the fullback. Actually, I think they usually put Johnson fullback. I'm pretty certain that they normally put Johnson as the fullback when they play. I could be wrong, though, but I'm pretty certain they put him fullback when they play Papua New Guinea. Sacha Kelton says, Coates and Johnson is a very nice wing pairing. Should bring a lots of spark to the PNG attack. Yeah, I agree. Dave, mate. Dad's Mates is always a weak team when you have Lomax. Cook Islands for the win. Kelton says, Cook Islands for Storm Muppet, man. Yeah, you can play fullback, AJ. Yeah, I'm pretty certain he'll play fullback. So that means that maybe Xavier Coates will be the wing alongside Jimmy Ngutalik. Because Jimmy's been selected here, as you can see. Here, yes. Yeah, Dave, mate. Yeah, I know, Jay. The old Dave, mate, eh? So, yeah, and then obviously when you get to the front rowers here, you've got, and this will absolutely happen, Mackenzie Yeh was fantastic against the Fijians in the mid-season test. Fantastic against them. Incredible. And Sylvester Namo, you would assume, probably plays front row as well. That hooker issue is going to be interesting, to whether they go Watovo Puara or they go with Ipape, like you were saying. Chopin Up says, which team do you go for? I'm Australian, man, but my daughter's Fijian, so I get around both, but in the same sense, I really don't mind. I really don't mind overall. Jared Troy says, has Johnson recovered from his recent injury towards the end of the season? Yes, yeah, Johnson will be playing. Sylvester Number, then you back row, Dan Russell and Nixon Putt. I think Nixon Putt probably plays, as long as he's been selected here. I'm pretty certain that, yeah, Nixon Putt probably plays there. But I'm not too sure if Dan Russell... Has Dan Russell been selected here? Has Dan Russell been selected? He has been selected right underneath him. There you go. Maybe. I'm not too sure, but I know that the front rowers will stay the same, and the lock will be interesting to see if they go with Kevin Appo there. But anyway, it's a really solid team. It really is. It's a good team. It's not something that you would expect to win the World Cup, but it's something that you could definitely expect to really grind out wins in this group against and potentially top it. I'm not going to lie. They could potentially top it. Flex says Nene will be good for PNG. So Nene might be the winger or the centre alongside these boys. So it might be Justin Olam and Nene McDonald in the centres, or it might be Xavier Coates and Nene McDonald on the wings. You wouldn't obviously put him in the fullback because that's where Alex Johnston is. It depends on where they put Johnston, but Nene will probably go into the centres or the wings. But that all comes down to his age, because how old is Nene McDonald now? He's not exactly a young bloke anymore. I know that he's been around for ages. I know. Levi Benz, you're like this close to being hidden, by the way, bro. Like, you're like this close to being hidden on the channel, my guy. Like surely. Yeah, exactly right, Jay. Exactly right. But yeah, like I said, really good team. Where do you guys think that they're going to come in the group? I'm not going to give my prediction until the end of the video, but where do you guys think the Papua New Guineans will get in the group? I'd love to see kind of where your thoughts are first. But yeah, Johnson has recovered. But which will be good because we need to see him. We need to see him come out there. Riley Cafford says second. I think most people are going to say second. Sasha Kell says first or second. I think McDonald's 28. That's crazy, Alex. He feels like he's been around for like 35 years. It feels like he's been around for ages. That's crazy. Only 28. Wowee. Played for the Titans, played for the Dragons, played for the Cowboys. But and he's still only 28 years old, and he's not even in the NRL anymore. He's over in the Super League. 28? Nah, that's got to be wrong. Surely. Hold on, let me get here. That's got to be wrong. Nene McDonald is 28. He's my age. That's wild. That's mad. Nene McDonald's my age. Yeah, he must have started when he was 3 years old. That's incredible there. That's not even taking a shot at Nene. I love Nene, but that's mad, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So, alright, well, we'll move on from Papua New Guinea. I think that was, pretty good to go through them. Obviously, if you're looking at this is not their team lineup, guys. This was just one they played against the PMXII, and we'll just kind of give it our thoughts there. Their first game, however, let's go to all teams. We'll go to Papua New Guinea here. Papua New Guinea men, and we've got them going up against Tonga in the first game. Now, I've got this as the best game. This the best game of the group stages. I honestly have it as the best game of the group stages. I think that, especially after last night, it convinced me even more that this will be a romper-stomper game. It'll be so close, and I would not be surprised if Papua New Guinea win it. So we'll obviously be streaming every single game of the World Cup here, guys. You guys know that. Literally every single one of them. Last night was huge, by the way. I think we had like 20,000 overall, which was impressive for a warm-up game. But yeah, this is going to be an absolutely massive game here, so definitely get ready for that one. But let's move on now to the next team. Obviously, first up, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. We're only 200 away from 20,000 now. We're only less than 200 away from 20,000 now. We've been absolutely banging the last couple of days, so keep on smacking it. But the next team we're going to do is we're going to go with Wales. We'll go Wales to kind of get them out of the way here because they're not going to be spoken about too comprehensively based on the fact that they're a bit of a throwaway team in this group that not many people are going to know about. A lot of their players obviously do come back from the Super League and at least they suit those conditions over there. But let's get into it here. So Caleb Aikens from the Leigh Centurions. You've got Bailey Antrobus from the York City Knights. Gavin Bennion from the Rockdale Hornets. Joe Burt from the West Wales Raiders. Chester Butler, Bradford Bulls. Didn't Bradford last night play Greece and Bradford actually drew with Greece? I'm pretty certain it was like 34-34, something ridiculous, which is not a good sign for Greece there, lads. You got Mike Butt for the Swinton Lions, Connor Davies from the Workington Town, Curtis Davies from Whitehaven, Reece Evans, Bradford Bulls, Will Evans from Whitehaven, Kyle Evans from Wakefield Trinity, Ben Evans from Bradford Bulls. A lot of Bradford Bulls boys here. Dan Fleming from the Featherstone Rovers. Matty Fozzard from the Widnes Vikings. Dalton Grant, London Broncos. Tommy Hopkins, Barrow Raiders. Elliot Keir from the Bradford Bulls. Even more Bradford Bulls. There's another one to come too. Rodri Lloyd from the Swinton Lions. James Olds from the Valley Diehards. You got Ollie Olds from the Valley Diehards, Josh Ralph from the Mounties, Louis Roberts from the Leigh Centurions, Anthony Walker from the Bradford Bulls, and then Reece Williams from the Salford Red Devils. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea about this team. Maybe let's go and see if they can have like a predicted... Let's go see if they've got a predicted Welsh lineup. Predicted Wales lineup here. Predicted Wales lineup. They did. Giannis wasn't playing for Greece. There's something wrong here. There's something wrong here. Wales predicted lineups. Wales... I haven't gone with Rugby League. Predicted Wales lineup. Rugby League. And then Wales versus Lebanon. Wales. Okay, here we go. Wales World Cup predicted squad. No, Brabham Best. Oh, so Brabham Best is actually Welsh. Okay, so Brabham Best or Tyson Frizzell could have played. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't. Cool. Alright, so Caleb Aikens will be their fullback. So literally, they would have had two really solid NRL talents, but they chose not to. Elliot Keir, Reece Williams in the wings, Dan Fleming and Reece Evans in the centres. You got James Olds and Josh Ralph in the 6 and 7. Joe Burke with Gavin Benny in the front row. Curtis Davies, number 9. Chester Butler and Bailey Antropos in the back row. And then Ben Evans is the 13. Matty Fozzard, Tom Hopkins, Rodri Lloyd, and Ant Walker as the bench. So, like, I just read that out to you so you kind of have an idea. But honestly, I don't know a great deal about this team. Let's get to the Super League talent first. Reece Williams is the captain. We'll start in a wing. Gil Dudson got himself suspended late in the Super League season and will miss out entirely. Okay, well, they've already gone backwards already. Aussie fans will be remembered... Yeah, Caleb Aikens' name does actually ring a bell here. Aussie fans will be familiar with Caleb Aikens. Once the Panthers and now Lee, who will start at fullback, and Bailey Antropos, one of the Dragons. Once the Dragons in two. No idea who Bailey Antropos is, but Caleb Aikens, I can remember that name from the Panthers, absolutely. They were some pretty poor times for the Panthers, though. That were some pretty poor times for the Panthers. Josh Ralph playing New South Wales Cup with the Mounties, goes from State Cup along with two of the Brisbane comp, James Olds and brother Ollie Olds, both of Valley diehards. Dasman says, Tyson Frizzell played for Wales in the 2013 World Cup. Yeah, true. Yeah, true. 2013 World Cup, I'm pretty certain Australia won that, right? They would have, surely. Because I think 2008 was the only year they didn't. Also, why was it in 2008, not 2009? Bright Roberts says 10 years, I suppose it makes sense. Jared Choi says, who won last night's game? Tonga by 50-14, 15-12, but it wasn't a fantastic performance. Bright Roberts says they have a sick flag, I'll give them that. Who, Wales? Wales? Well, yeah, their flag is okay. Yeah, their flag, obviously, you can see it behind us here. The one, is it this side? Is it that? Yeah, it is that side, sweet. So I can only see it only in the corner down the bottom. But yeah, look, it's a pretty cool flag. But we have to play Wales in the Rugby Union World Cup group stages. So no big fan group over here for the old Welsh in Australia. If you're a Rugby Union fan, because we play them literally every group stage nearly. Okay, so their group, so obviously they've got Cook Islands. So their first game will be against the Cook Islands, which is, it is a winnable game for them, but they're not going to. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to. NBA News now says Cook Islands would easily put up 70 on Aussie and New Zealand. Oh, that's cool. I remember when they lost by 50 to Samoa, when Samoa also didn't have Lua or anyone. Settle down, mate. Alex says Aikens played for Raiders as well. He did, yeah. Desmond says Tyson Frizzell played for Wales in the 2013 World Cup. Brighton Robinson, you're right. Best has been real quiet this year. But in the same sense, they would be providing probably their best talent in this team. Wales versus Cook Islands, that's next. It doesn't give us what day. Okay, cool. Just doesn't give us what day. Oh, no, it does. Sorry. Wednesday, 19th of October. Okay, so midweek next week. Okay, so not even on that first couple of games. Fair enough, though. It's a pretty average game. Then Tonga played Wales, and then Papua New Guinea versus Wales. So if Wales don't want to finish last, they have to win this game. This game here is to see who finishes last in the group. I think Cook Islands will probably snag it, but we'll talk about the Cook Islands in a second. Yeah, there's not really a great deal much more to be said about Wales, to be fair. But yes, man, so I think PNG is a strong team, but they can be exposed with high ball towards their centres and playmakers. Always enjoy the enthusiasm they bring, though. Absolutely, yeah. We'll go back to PNG at the end when we do our kind of summary and whatnot. But yeah, Papua New Guinea are a very fun team to watch. If you love physicality and you love passion. Brighton says, oh no, Wales don't muck around in Union. Oh, they do muck around in Union. They've never won before. They've never won before, yeah. Jasper says, I'd rather play Wales than New Zealand or South Africa, though. Okay, let's get back into Rugby League, guys. Let's get back into Rugby League. That was just a little bit of an off-topic thing. It's not designed to go off-topic. Wonky Donkey TV says, think Wales declined to pick NRL players who hadn't played in the qualifiers. They declined to pick them. That's stupid. Like, that is legitimately stupid. That is legitimately stupid. I'm sorry, but if that's what the Wales organisation did do, I'm not guaranteeing that happened. It's just a comment in the chat from someone who's over there in the Super League, like the European area. But if that's the case, that's ridiculous that you don't choose two of your best players because they didn't play in the qualifiers. You want to lose. Exactly right, mate. They want to lose. They want to lose. NBA News now, your banter is shocking. Like, that is so dead, bro. Like, that is so dead. But then again, so is Wales for not choosing NRL talent because they didn't play in the qualifiers. Crazy. I get it. I get loyalty and whatnot, but you want to lose. And you're in a tough group. You're in a real tough group. And an underrated tough group too. Because Papua New Guinea never usually get the credit that they deserve. Because they don't have the NRL talent that people normally, want to see when they're looking at a team to win the World Cup. But that's the teams there, guys. So that's Wales done. I predict them. We'll do our predictions late. We'll do our predictions last. But alright guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. On our way to 20k, let's look at the next team now, and that is going to be Cook Islands. Let's get into the cookies here. The old Cook Islands. This is going to be interesting with my best mate, my best man, Isan Muppet. I think that when they had their their mid-season game, they looked dreadful. I hope they can look a lot better here, but it's going to be difficult. Cook Islands are only just emerging as a team. They're an emerging nation, right? And an emerging nation means don't expect shit. Expect shit, but don't expect anything to happen, really. It's going to be a grind over the next couple of decades to get this team really out there and really, chugging and motoring. Don't expect too much here from Cook Islands. Can we time that NBA news now? You're boring, bro. You're boring. I think that, I think Cook Islands will be probably third in this group. I'll straight up say that. But overall, it's not a great deal of excitement to come here from Cooks. Ibanez, Honoto Barri says, best channel, love from New Zealand. Keep it up. Appreciate you over there in New Zealand. You guys are looking pretty good. going to this World Cup. We already did your preview, but you're looking pretty damn well good. But back into the Cook Islands here. You got Tevin Arona from Auckland, Tinarau Arona from Wakefield Trinity. He actually used to play, I think, maybe for the West Tigers, if I'm not mistaken. You got Jeff Daniela from St. Mary's Saints, Jonathan Ford from the Featherston Ravers. I know who's coming up soon. Anthony Jelling from the Auckland, Kyle Iro from the Canal Sharks, Makahesi Makatoa from the Parramatta Squeals. You got Issa Muppet from Huddersfield Giants. You got Stephen Masters from Ethereal Butchers. You got Davy Mawali from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. You got Ted by Maroa from the Melbourne Storm. You got Big Buppa Napa, Big Buppa Napa, Big Buppa Napa, Big Buppa Napa, Dylan Napa, the big fella, Captain of the Dragons. Tell you what, here he is. If you guys are new to the channel, he is a cult hero on the channel that the chat just doesn't stop talking about forever. That's why, because I one time created a song for him, the Dylan Napa song, the Big Buppa Napa, Big Buppa Napa, Big Buppa Napa, Big Buppa Napa, and now people don't stop talking about Big Buppa Napa. You got Rua Ngata Kara from the West Tigers. You got Moses Nuval McGrill from the North Devils. Pride Peterson Rabati from the Warriors. My boy Dom Perot, I haven't seen him in years. I remember he bought my first drink when I was 18. He bought my first alcoholic beverage on my 18th birthday, Dominic Peru did. Toulouse Olympic. Wow, we haven't seen him for ages. How old's Dom now? He's got to be in his 30s, surely. One second here. Dominic, I don't even know if he remembers that, but yeah, Dom was the first person to buy me a drink when I was 18. Dominic Peru, he is 33 years. Yeah, that's a lot more makes sense, that one. That one makes a little bit more sense there. You got Brandon Piakura from the Brisbane Broncos, Ruben Porter from the Tweedhead Seagulls, Vincent Rennie from the Newtown Jets, Ruben Rennie from the Newtown Jets, Brad Takarangi from the Hull Kingston Rovers, Aaron Taroy from the Central Queensland Capras, Zane Tedavano from the Leeds Rhinos. Haven't heard that name in ages. I think he used to play for the Titans and the Knights. And then Paul Olberg from the London Broncos. It's not a bad team. They've got pieces. They've definitely got pieces here. Let's go and have a look at what their first games are. So the first game is against Wales. Have to win that. With the team that I'm about to read out, they have a chance, but I still think they'll get pumped by Papua New Guinea and Tonga. I do. They're an emerging nation for a reason. But let's go back here. Let's go back and we'll go predicted Cook Islands lineup rugby league. I could probably give you a really good prediction, but in the same sense, I'd rather go to one of these websites to give you what they're thinking. Actually, let's read through this. The big issue is getting eligible players to actually play for them. Yeah, Val Holmes would be able to be selected by them, by the way. He is Cook Islander. He's also got Jordan Rapana, Murata Niakora, and Charles Mill Clockstar. 4 of those guys, 1 of them Australian, 3 of them are New Zealand. Joey Manu, Joseph Tarpane, and Josh Papali'i are also eligible, but have never come close to representing them. That's because Joe Manu New Zealand, Joe Tarpane New Zealand, Josh Papali'i normally Australia, but has now gone to Samoa. Josh Papali'i's got everything in him. He's bloody Australian, he's bloody Samoan, he's Tongan, he's probably Welsh. He's probably bloody Jamaican at this point. Mate, get him on Jamaica. Tony Iro, so is that KL Iro's dad, who's the coach there? Instead of focusing on who isn't playing, let's see who is. From the NRL ranks, you get Davi Mawali, Tepai Maroa, Makahesi Makotoa, and Isa Muppet. Isa Muppet's not an NRL player. Settle down, mate. Settle down. Brandon Piakura, TC Rabati. All from the Brisbane System and Pride, Peterson Rabati. And we'll join along with Zane Tedavano, Brad Takarangi, Dylan Napa, Nathaniel Petteru. I think he also used to play for the Titans. Petteru, and then Dom Peru. Let's have a look here. So their fullback Kyle Iro, that makes sense, absolutely. It's so interesting seeing Isam up as a 6. He's a dreadful 6. Stephen Masters and Paul Alberg in the wings. You got Brad Takarangi and Anthony Jelling in the centres. I don't know what it is. I thought this was looking a bit better. I think maybe they've got better forwards. Their backline, though, is just av. Isam Masters and John O'Ford in the halves. You've got Dylan Napa, big Bappa Napa, big Bappa Napa, big Bappa Napa, big Bappa Napa. It's so catchy. You got to sing it. You got to sing it. I guarantee you're singing it back home too. Dylan Napa and Zane Tedavano on the front rowers. So Tim Arona, number 9. My boy Dummy Peru in the back row alongside Brandon Piakura. Dom Peru, I believe, was a centre for us Titans back in the day. I believe he played in the centres back in the day. Brandon Piakura back row with Tepai Maroa in the 13. Aaron Taroi, TC Rabati, Makahesi Makatoa, and Davi Mawali as the interchange. So, yeah, well, they've got... it's interesting, they've got... No, there's no NRL talent who's actually not playing in this starting team, actually. So, look, it's okay. It's okay. I expected a little bit better, not going to lie. I thought that would look a little bit better after the team lineups that I just saw. But it's going to really lack in regards to decision-making. And it's not ringing too many bloody ding-a-ling-dings, you know? It's not ringing a great deal of ding-a-ling-dings. But I do believe they can beat Wales, that's for sure. I don't believe they can beat Papua New Guinea and Tonga, personally. Brian Roberts says, bro, they could upset some teams here. I disagree. I think that they're definitely an emerging nation. This proves that they've got a team here that is not horrific by any stage, but it's not going to be beating any big dogs by any means. Chopper and Love says, can you please do Lebanon, please? I'm a fan of them. I want to see if they're good. I already did Lebanon, man. I already did Lebanon in the group yesterday. We did Lebanon. We've done all of them. This is Pool D. We've already done Pool A, B, and C, and they're all up for you to watch after this. So after we finish here, you can jump on there and have a look. Oh, my computer's going to die. I forgot to get my charger. Give me 1 second here, guys. I forgot to get my charger. Give me 1 second here. I don't even know where my charger is. It's actually right over here. I didn't even need to stand up. I'm a Muppet. I am a Muppet Man. He is a Muppet Man. All right, let's put that there. Bang. So literally the charger was right below me. I'm a Muppet. I really am. I just am, man. But yeah, so look, it's okay. It's okay. Alex says, imagine a big Bappa game-winning crash play to win the game. Dazmate will go on a bender for about 30... Oh, there he goes. Dazmate going on a 2-week bender if that happens, Alex. Alex says he's also Antarctican. Big Papa says, Blaze did Lebanon yesterday. I did Lebanon yesterday, mate. Here's my ringtone, Dazmate says. Kyle Ero's dad is the great Kevin Ero. Is that the one that we read up here? Kyle, no, that's Kyle. Kyle. Oh, Tony Euro. So it must have some relation to him. There's no way it doesn't have any relation to him there, Tony. Yo, Tony. Bright Robertson says, yeah, you're right. He was a centre. Yeah, he was, yeah. B.S. Mans, I think the Cook Islanders are the most represented people in the NRL. Well, I'd say Australia. No, I'd say that if you're talking about the Islander teams, I would disagree. I'd say Tonga. But then again, you are kind of right, though, that a lot of those guys... But then again, most of these guys aren't NRL level. Like, most of these guys aren't there. The only NRL ones... Takarangi used to play for the Eels and the Titans. This bloke used to play for the Titans, the Cowboys, and the Tigers. This bloke used to play for the Roosters and the Dogs. Used to play for the Tigers. Used to play for the Titans and the Knights. Kind of plays for the Broncos, not really. Used to play for the Titans and the Warriors. I think used to play for the Warriors and the Eels. Yeah, it does play for the Eels. That's probably their only real starter right now. TC Rabati kind of plays for the Broncos. There's only really 2 straight-up starters in the NRL right now. And there's only really 1, and that's Makahesi Makatoa. And he doesn't guarantee each week either. Charles says 1 Tonga, 2 Papua New Guinea, 3 Cook Islands, 4 Wales. But he says he wants to see Max Verstappen. I don't think he plays for Cook Islands, that's for sure. Alex says, if he's up as your 5'8", you're doing something wrong. You are doing something wrong if he's up as your 5'8", that's for sure. Mickle says he's Tony Ero's nephew. Oh, he is. Okay, Kyle Ero's his nephew. Okay. Morel plays the Storm at the moment. Oh, there you go. Well, he's not actually playing for them, though. He obviously is just in their system, I guess. But yeah, I think that's all we need to really kind of go over there with the Cook Islands. We'll get into Tonga next, obviously. But like I said, their first game is going to be their only real winnable game here for me. Is that's Wales, and Wales don't have a terrible team either. Wales could surprise here, lads. They could surprise. That's going to be an interesting game next Wednesday. And then they play Papua New Guinea, and then they play Tonga, and they're not going to win those two games for me. They can't win those two. They can't win those two games. What's this text message I'm getting here? No, I don't want a 20% sale at some random company. But what I do want you to do is hit that bloody thumbs up button. Bang! Subscribe if you're new around here. Bang! And let's get into the last team of the Pool D. And that is going to be the Tonga. Tonga. Matama. Let's go down here and have a look. Obviously, we did see them play last night in a warm-up game where they won 50-12 against France. The French. They played alright. They played okay. They weren't fantastic. They made a lot of mistakes and need to really fix their game up. But at least they've got a winnable group there. Even though they've got Papua New Guinea, they've got a winnable group. But let's go through the team lineup here, guys. And then let's go and have a look-ski at where we would put them as well. Benny says, hope you're well, mate. Loving the stream still. Aside from the obvious big-name nations, is there a nation underdog you are really wanting to see do better than everyone thinks this year? So, Benny, I've got a video coming out tomorrow. I will not be live streaming tomorrow night. I'll be doing a video tomorrow with my entire World Cup predictions. So these group stages have been all about predicting the groups. I haven't actually told you guys who I think wins or who I think progresses past the next round. That's tomorrow, and that's going to be a video, not a stream. So yeah, I can't really answer it for you right this second, but tomorrow at 5:30 PM AST, that video will come out, and definitely check it out. It'll be a good one. But let's get into the Tonga lineup here. So Tautau Junior Amon from the Dragons played last night. My boy, Davey Fafita. Oh my God, he was good last night. 3 tries for David Fafita in last night's thrashing. Could have had 4 too, was so close. He's going to be a guy to watch out for in this World Cup. Adam Fanua-Blake in the New Zealand Warriors. You got Moeaki Fotuaika, the big fella, big chugger from the Gold Coast Titans. You got Saliva Havili from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Will Hopewade from St. Helens. Conrad Harrell from St. Helens. Wow, well, they've won like 3 in a row, so 4 in a row. May as well call them St. Helens. But Connie Harrell used to play for the Titans, and so did Will Hopewade for the Eels. and Dogs, I think. And Dogs. Isaiah Kotoa from the Panthers needs to get more time. Siona Kotoa from the Sharks is actually injured. He did his ACL throughout the season, so Siona Kotoa, unfortunately, is not there. He would have been a start-up walk-up for the wing spot. Felice Kafusi from the Melbourne Storm. Keon Kolomatangi from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Tolotau Kuola from the Manly Sea Eagles. You got Tui Lolohea from the Huddersfield Giants, I believe. Sonny Luke from the Penrith Panthers. My big boy, big fella, Benny Murdoch Masilla from the New Zealand Warriors. Is he still the Warriors, is he? Is he still there? I thought he went. I thought he left. Testing you from the Broncos. Haumole Olakau'atu from... Haumole Olakau'atu. I can't even say his name right now. Olakau'atu from the Manly Sea Eagles. Why did I say O and then E? I don't know. Maybe because I was thinking about saying Manly next straight up. That's why I said E. But anyway, we're going to get into it again. We're going to pretend like this is the first time. First time over. Haumole Olakau'atu from the Manly Sea Eagles. Thank you, guys. I did that first time. Will Penasini from the Parramatta Squeals. Moses Sully from the St. George Illawarra Dragons. You got Siasia Fatalakai from the Cronulla Sharks. Tavita Totola from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Siasia Takiyaho from the Sydney Roosters. Jason Tamalola from the Cowboys. Even though he's suspended for the first 3 games, I believe, or 2 games. He actually served one of his suspended games yesterday. And then Daniel Tupou from the Roosters on the wing there. So I can give you what I believe will be their team lineup from what I would do personally, and then also kind of what we saw last night. So they had last night, who was their fullback again last night? It was Tessie New from the Brisbane Broncos. What other fullbacks do they have here? Like, you do have the possibility of putting Toltak Waller there if you did want to. I don't think Tessie New was that bad last night, to be overall honest with you. I'd probably say Tessie New goes to the fullback. It's not the greatest fullback you're ever going to see, but it's definitely a serviceable fullback that you'll get with him. On the wings, normally you would love to see Siona Katoa there, but last night we saw their wingers weren't actually unbelievable last night. Talakai wasn't there last night. Who was their wingers last night? Daniel Tupou. Who was... Blaze had a lot to drink kind of from Slate. Mate, I can't, I've had a lot to drink, mate. I'm very, very definitely drunk. Very definitely drunk. France, good against Tonga? Yeah, we're okay. They were okay. Who played wing last night for Tonga, lads? Can someone tell me? I can't remember. I'm going to go here and get the predicted lineup here of Tonga, because I can't remember who actually played, and I don't know why I can't look here and see who would have been there. Maybe Will Penasini played one of the wings? Maybe? Will Penasini and... Tolotau Kuola played one of the wings. I think Koala play one of the wings. Hapawada will be starting fullback. Yeah, probably actually. Will Hapawada probably will be starting fullback, but I thought Tassie New played pretty well yesterday. I'm not going to lie. I thought he played pretty well. How Tonga could line up the Rugby World Cup. Okay, here we go. But this is going back. Ooh, yikes. Oh, yikes. And Staggs isn't playing, guys. Staggs is out. So Katoni Staggs won't be here. And they don't even have him on this list anyway. Staggs will not be playing for Tonga. So I can see that this list already has 3 wrong names. But Will Hapawadi there as a fullback. Sione Katoa injured. They had Moses Suli playing the centres. CSF Talakai, he wasn't there yesterday. He'll probably obviously start, unless I'm mistaken there. Daniel Tupou, obviously one wing, and you'll probably have, like I said, Tomo Takwala on the other. So this probably goes to... that one would probably go to the centre being... Well, Connie Harrell played yesterday. I don't think Connie Harrell starts in the World Cup for him. I really don't. I don't think he did too much yesterday either. So I think maybe it could be Moses Suli and Siosifa Talakai, which is a relatively underwhelming centre pairing. I'm not going to lie to you. It is... Katoa's not injured anymore, one says. Sione Katoa did his ACL, didn't he? I'm pretty certain he is. Let's go have a look. I'm pretty certain Sione Katoa's not playing. Connie looks out of my shape for this liking. Yeah, I agree too. I do agree. Sione Katoa. Let's go have a look here. Let's go. I'll have a look here. We'll go to news. Sharks the World Cup. Sharks missing. Oh, he has. Oh, it was only a pectoral injury. Sorry. Okay, so Sione Katoa will play wing then. Has recovered from his pectoral injury and has been included in the Tonga squad. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. One says, why would they name him if he can't play? I didn't... Well, this here, so this one here that we look at here, like you can try and feel like you know everything. It's all good and one. You feel like you know everything, be my guest. You know, get your ego trip. You go, girl. But, like, I don't really care. But the point of the matter is that, like, Katoni Staggs is not here. But also, when you're talking about players that aren't here, look at... One second here. Let's go have a look at which players are not going to be playing. Like, there's up here in other teams, we've seen that they're... Actually, let's go to Samoa. One second here. Let's go to Samoa, and it will show you that you've got many players here that are not actually playing for them. There was a couple of ones that just didn't simply have players playing for them. Maybe not Samoa, but throughout this, you've got to not necessarily trust all these, right? So, point of the matter is that you feel like you want to know everything, but... yeah, time out Owana. Owana's trying to get an ego trip, man. You know, you do your best, brother. You do your best. Alfred says Christian Tuipulotu was the other winger. Thank you, Alfred. Thank you, Alfred. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, it was Christian Tuipulotu, which they don't even have here. So Christian Tuipulotu's not even here, mind you. So there you go. That proves what I'm saying right now. These squads here, for example, Tuipulotu, not on this list. Not on this list. Tata Lely was out. Lee Sal from Super League replacing him, but he's a prop. Marcus getting around Papua New Guinea. We've already spoken about Papua New Guinea there. Yeah, Tui Piloto's not on this list, which is interesting. So Sione Katoa will play then. Alongside Daniel Tupou. And then Tui Lolohea into that 6. Telltale Moan 7. Now, though, that's an underwhelming halves pairing. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a really underwhelming halves pairing. The commentary was trying to big him up yesterday, but I just didn't think they did too well. Lolohea has been around for a long time. He played in the days of Gordy Tallis. But he's been around for ages, man. He's been around for about ages, the old Tui Lolohea. Wolf confirms Tonga's 24-man squad tomorrow, Alfred says. Yeah, good stuff. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what happens there. Adam Fennell will blame the front row. I think the forwards underwhelmed last night. I really do. I think the forwards underwhelmed. Saliva Havili, I like this though. Well, actually, go to the spine here first because this is the biggest concern, right? Saliva Havili, I think he's a great player off the bench for the Rabbitohs. I would never start him, and I said this all the time before the World Cup during the Rabbitohs season. I said Saliva Havili is the best 14 in the comp. However, I know he was a big miss when they played the Panthers in that preliminary final. However, I would not start him. I don't think he's a starting hooker. So it is an issue here for Tonga that he is the starting 9. But they have to, obviously, Telltale Moan and Tui Lolohea. A bit of a yikes there. And then you go to the fullback of Will Hapawada, who had so much potential coming in when he was younger. I think he went away for his 2 years Mormon leave. And then after that has come back and has been fine. You do have that backup there if something does go wrong and he's not as great as you kind of would want him to be. You do have that backup Tessie New, who did not play too badly last night. Also, I actually think Isaiah Katoa played last night and he was good. I think Isaiah Katoa is a 6, isn't he? I think Isaiah Katoa is a 6. You could play him. Isaiah Katoa is a 6. You could play him. Alfred Tamefuwa says Sonny Luke from the Panthers will be a starting hooker. Will he? I don't know. I think they'll go with Saliva Havili. I don't know about that. I disagree with you there. I think, yeah, Hopper was great in his prime. Yeah, that was a while back, though. Fucker Offa says Tonga squad has already confirmed those extra players playing last night are the standby players and some boys who just filled in like Luai did for the Kiwis. Okay, yeah, fair enough. There you go. Isaiah Katoa was a 7. 7. Okay, so would you... I really think you could probably play him over Amon. I think you probably could. I'm not the biggest fan of Amon. I honestly think that Isaiah Katoa was really good last night when he came on. I think it was really good. And I don't mind Isaiah Katoa. I really don't mind him. I think he could go into 7 over Amon. And I don't believe it's also confirmed, fuck off. I don't think they've confirmed it yet. They haven't yet. The extended squad has been confirmed, obviously, but I don't think they've actually confirmed what the actual squad is just yet. But yeah, the spine is okay. The spine's okay. I personally would make the big call of putting Isaiah Katoa into over Amon. But in the same sense, it's a hard call because Amon has the bigger name, but I think Katoa has the better potential. Fuck off says I'm in the staff. Well, then welcome. Well, then fuck off knows. Well, have we known publicly? Have they said it publicly? I don't think that anything's been spoken about publicly. I don't think anything's been spoken about publicly. Oh, no, Joe's you Muppet, man. This is the biggest Muppet I ever did see Muppet. Gee whiz, man. Gee whiz. Muppet, man. So hard to know with this chat, man. Like, you're sitting here trying to give a preview, and we've got people saying, I'm in the bloody... I'm in the staff. How am I meant to know you're not in the staff? Charles says, who do you think will fill in lock? Filling in lock. So, obviously, it would normally be Jason Tamalolo here. Who played for you guys last night in the lock? Dave won't be there. Adam Van Blake, he'll be front row. Mo won't be there. You've got Kafusi, surely not. Kolobatangi, no. Ben Silla, Ola Kawatu, Tavita Tatola. Yeah, I know Fakafo is lying, Alfred. I know Fakafo is lying. I know. I can't believe these Muppets plays. It's hard, man, because I've got to trust people sometimes, but also I've got to not trust people as well, because there's a lot of Muppets around. Phil Hooker is a good one here. Isn't he the same guy that said Stags wasn't Tongan? Oh, probably is. It probably is. Anyway, so let's get back to the question that I had here. So, you'd probably go with... You'd probably go Takiaho, maybe. You could put Takiaho there. And I will throw this out there as well. This guy is potentially a good lock. I just want to throw that out there. I'm a Gold Coast Titans fan. I know Dave well. You know, he's a great bloke. Dave is actually a great shout as a lock. I just want to throw that out there. He's a great ball runner, also knows how to get an offload going, also knows how to get passing. He's not going to be it, guys. I just want to throw this out there. He will not be the lock. But if push comes to shove, him going there gets a lot of ball. He gets a lot of ball there. So I would not necessarily mind to see him there. But as Alfred said, Takiaho or Kolomatangi's lock. But I really do like Dave as a lock, man. I really do. I really do like it. I haven't actually... I want to speak to... like, we've got... At the Titans, we've got locks, right? But I actually, honestly, would like to see him in lock for the Titans. I would. And I've said this to Dave before. I haven't said this to Justin before, though. So there's that, but he's not going to be the lock. It's either, as they said, it's between Kolomatangi and also Takiaho. I think, personally, I'd go Takiaho. I'd say Takiaho is the fill-in because, guys, this is just a temporary until Jason Tamalolo comes back from his suspension, which I find ridiculous that an Australian body can suspend players in a Rugby League World Cup that goes against Australia. I find that ridiculous, and I'm Australian, right? So I agree with you there, Tongans, who don't like that. But it is what it is, obviously. It is what it is. Okay, so that's we'll go with the lock there for this week. They'll probably go with Takiaho, maybe. Maybe they'll go Takiaho there. Alpha says, David can play there, but not more suited on the edge back rower. Absolutely, but there's... I want to see him there. I really do. I want to see him there. So yeah, I'll go Takiaho. Fakaofa says Takiaho should play lock and Totola can fill in prop. He's a form prop in the squad at the moment based on NRL form. Tavia Totola. Oh, that's a hard one because I'm not the biggest fan of Tavia Totola, especially at the Rabbitohs. I don't think that he is that great. I think that the underlying stats are there. They're there to show that he's good. But it's not really my kind of forward. If I was a coach, obviously, I wouldn't be playing Tavia Totola. But in the same sense, there's not many other options here because you're not going to play Benny Masilla. You're not going to be doing that. And Tavia Totola is really the only other guy that can fill in a prop there. Your props actually don't have too much depth. Like, obviously, Adam Fanua Blake is one of your front rowers. And, you got Moaki Fodawaker. You got Big Mo. You've also got Big Mo there. I actually probably would put Mo in alongside Fanua Blake. I'd say if you're going to put him into the front row, you'd put Moaki with Adam Blake, and then you'd have Tavita Todd off the bench personally. Demi says it would be better to put Taniela Otakolo instead of Saliva Havili, then Havili comes off the bench. I like that, Demi. I do, because like I said to you guys, I don't think that Saliva Havili is a starting hooker. I think he's a really good 14. He's, for me, the best 14 in the NRL. He's the best 14 in the NRL, the way he gets used at the Rabbitohs. I say this all the time. It's not just the World Cup that I've been speaking about this. This has been said for ages on this channel. Maybe you could put Otakolo in there. Maybe you could do that. Or Sonny Luke from the Panthers, as some people have said. But I just think that the best option for the Tonga team would be to have him come off the bench. Alex says, Totona would have been the greatest prop to ever did prop if he stayed at the Tigers. No one would have ever been the best to ever did best at any point at any Tigers history. And then the back row, obviously, you've got Dave Fafita, and they're saying Felice... Oh, you're bloody dreaming if you don't start Dave. So they've got Keon Kolomatangi and... Felice Kafusi is the two back rowers here they think will start. If you don't start Dave after yesterday, you are out of this world. Like, Dave Fafita was incredible yesterday. 3 tries. There's no way you don't start Dave this week in the back row. And then you've got Felice Kafusi, you've got Kolomatangi. The forwards underwhelmed last night. The entire forwards, besides Fafita, underwhelmed last night. I will throw that out there for the Tongans. I know you might not like to hear it, but it's true. I would say... if you're going to choose between Kafusi... I don't think you go Kafusi. Glenn Fischiati is not a name I've heard for a while. Do you go Kafusi, though? Kafusi's got a bit of age on him. He's got a bit of wear and tear. But then again, I guess you want at least some solidity there. Kolomatangi and Olukwatu might not have that solidity alongside Dave. You've already got explosiveness in Dave. That's the thing here. Will Wombat says, I think Tonga should play Stags halves and New or Penny centres comments. I don't think Stags isn't here. Stags isn't playing. Fucker says, Kafusi and Fafita back row. Kafusi only because his defense is pretty solid compared to the other second rows. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, you've got that solidity there with Felice Kafusi. He's got his age. That he's obviously been around for a long time. But you've got that real solidity with him that you know he's going to go out there. He's going to do his job. He's not going to be anything special, but he obviously helps Queensland to win. He's a great player at the Storm. I think is he off to... No, it's Oregon Kafusi's gone for the regular Dolphins. I think Felice might still be staying at the Storm. Trellmit says, got to start Dave. He is the sole hope for Tonga. Provides great explosive punch and a point of difference if used right. Yeah? Yeah, absolutely. Bees Man says, damn, what a wealth of forwards the Tongans have. They do have a wealth of forwards, but in the same sense, if you actually look at the forwards, Dave Fafita, you're not going to get anything low from him. You're not. I understand what happened with the Titans this year, but that was actually a club issue, not a Dave issue. Adam Blake, he's always going to be very solid. Not explosive, but solid. Very, very solid. Very, very good front rower, but not explosive front rower. Mikey Fodawaker can be an explosive front rower. We saw that for Queensland a couple of years back. But also can go quiet. I'm a Titans fan. I can see. I know it. You go to Felice Kafusi, solid, stable. Old, but stable. Kolomatangi can have a lot of mistakes in him. Can be explosive as shit, but has a mistake in him or two. You go to Benny Masila. It's not going to be getting a crack here, realistically. Hamali Olukwatu, also very similar to... I actually think that Kolomatangi and Olukwatu are very similar players. Like, pretty much the same player for me. I think they're very much the same player. So that's why I was getting confused which one you put on there. But if you're going to put onto the bench, I would personally take I'd take Kolomatangi over Olukwatu, personally, onto the bench there. Oh, no, it is Felice going to the Dolphins. No, it is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is Felice going to the Dolphins. Fuck off. I said, if Wolf puts passing the squad, I'm going to fly to the UK and give him a slap myself. Charles Heller says, is Oregon Kafusi half Tongan? I have no idea. Oregon Kafusi's not here. Big Papa says, still was a needed warm-up for Tongan to knock the cobwebs out, especially for those who haven't played, trained for 6 weeks. I agree, yeah. I agree. The cobwebs would need it. If they had gone in... So, as we've said here, guys, their first game is against, I think, Papua New Guinea, right? That's the biggest game of the group. It's the biggest game of the group, right? So, they needed that one game to get rid of the cobwebs, because if they had gone into this game against Papua New Guinea, they would have lost. And they could still lose this game. I'm just throwing it out there. They could still lose this game, Tonga. I don't know about it. It's a very tough game. I would not bet on this game. This game has upset all over it with Papua New Guinea, but it also has... Tonga should still win all over it as well. I don't know. It's going to be a super close game, and that's the most excited game I am for the World Cup at the moment. And then Wales, they'll win easy, and then Cook Islands, they'll win easy. Jay Samut says, after going through Tonga team, which country is next? We're done. This is where all the previews are done. So tomorrow, obviously we'll keep talking for a little bit here. We'll go for another 10 minutes or so. But we're done for the previews. This is all the teams done. We've done Pool A, Pool B, Pool C. Pool A was done on Thursday. Pool B was done on Friday. C was done yesterday. And this is Pool D tonight. So if you want, obviously, more Rugby League content talking about the other teams and whatnot, we have those previous streams that you can go check out. There's timestamps for each team as well. But we will stick around here for another 10 minutes talking. Splash says it'll be a tough, great game against PNG. It's the one that I'm looking forward to the most, yeah. Namu Hohongu says, can't start Totola, I agree. Only off the bench, in my opinion. Olakauatu over Kalamatangi. More heart from the young bloke, I reckon. I don't know if Totola even gets... Well, Totola should get in the team. But I've got the front rowers, whilst you've got Takiaho in the lock over with Tamalola being suspended, I've got Mawaki Fodawaker and Adam Fanor-Blake starting as the front rowers. And then maybe if you want to put Totola on the bench, you're going to have one of Olakauatu or Olakauatu or... who's the other one there? Kalamatangi on the bench. They're the same player. I don't play them both. Unless they decide to go with Dave Fafita and one of these two. It really is possible. They could go Dave Fafita and Kalamatangi or Dave Fafita and Olakauatu. But the fact of the matter is that it really comes down to the fact that if they do... there's no way you do not play Dave Fafita after yesterday. There is no chance. If you do, then you've lost the World Cup. You've just lost any chance. Fuck Offer says, who do you have between Tonga and Papua New Guinea, and how much does Tonga beat them by? I think I still will go Tonga here, but I think it's going to be like a 2-point game, man. This is going to be a big stream here, guys. We will stream every single Rugby League World Cup game, but I think this is going to be huge because this is the two most passionate supporter bases in the NRL, in the Rugby League community, Papua New Guinea and Tonga. Tonga get all the lights, right? And there's a lot of Tongans here. Don't take offense to this, right? But Tonga get all the lights for how passionate they are, and you guys are incredibly passionate about your sport and your rugby league, right? But Papua New Guinea are the underrated Tonga, right? With the way that they support the game. When they had the World Cup, when they had their 3 games for Papua New Guinea at home in 2017, you saw that really, really vibrantly. Their country only cares about rugby league. They are obsessed with the sport. This is going to be such a big game because both these teams... I would not be surprised, my guy, if Tonga lose to Papua New Guinea. I'm just throwing it out there. I would not be surprised. I think Tonga have the better team on paper, but Papua New Guinea year after year always prove that the team on paper doesn't necessarily beat them. They beat Fiji when the team on paper showed that they should have been getting beaten by Fiji. Right? They played a very, very weakened squad against Australia, which was ridiculous, but that's also Australia. I'm just looking forward to this game, man. And I'm looking forward to this game, really. It's going to be awesome. Ryder Cap says PNG at $13 to beat Tonga, put a bet on. I've got Tonga to win, but I'm just saying I would not be crazily surprised. Gabby Kalush says, unless Tonga just need to get rid of their errors. They had a lot of errors last night, man. Those errors was what killed them, man. Their errors is what killed them. Brian Robinson says, timestamps, mate. That's when you know your streamer cares. Yeah, I put timestamps throughout them. It's done by 5 minutes afterwards. I do it straight after I go on and put the timestamps there. Fuck off. I saw photos in the middle forwards training. Kafusi was in there. I might slide to 13 maybe. Maybe Kafusi could be a 13. Because I think Mo is better off the bench. Mo Aki is better off the bench there. You could maybe put Kafusi in 13. I think it's a bit of a waste though. I really do. I don't think so personally. But if he does go into 13, it just means probably he's playing in the 12, mate. It probably just means he's playing the back row. Alfred Tamefuna says exactly PNG is dangerous, and they're underrated dangerous. They go under the radar, and no one knows about them because they're like, oh, there's no NRL talent there. Bang, they beat you. You're just like, well, what the shit just happened, man? I thought we were going to win. Alfred says mute, fuck it off. The real Wombat says, honestly, with these sides, it'll be either a blowout or it's a game of 2 halves. Namu says, I agree, can't underestimate PNG. Offer Samson Amale says Lola here plus Amon. So that is the halves pairing, but I really do think that they should be going with Asaya Katoa. I like Asaya Katoa, man. And I thought when he came on last night, they looked really good. And that's when they actually did well. Last night, they were not good in the first half and not good for the first 10 minutes of the second half. And in the last 30 minutes came powering home, right? So I think Tonga need to kind of understand. Amon, for me, is not the player we all thought he was going to be at the Dragons. And he's not the player that I think we're ever going to see. I don't believe he's going to be what we expected. Kane Delaney says, Tonga are a bit better than Fiji, though. Yes, they would be, but they've also got similar problems, right? So you've also got to realise, they bring back Abisai Korosau, they got Viliami Kikau, Sunet Turuva, Mike Sivo, And they've also got heaps of guys not playing, like Daniel Saifidi brothers, the Tarek Sims the Sims brothers. You've got Wanga Blake not playing. They've still got a heap of talent that's not playing either. Regan Campbell-Gillard got selected for Australia. Fiji have a very similar issue to Tonga in the sense of their halves are the biggest issue. Tonga's got a decent fullback. Fiji's got a decent fullback. Tonga's got a decent hooker. Fiji's got a really good hooker. But it's the halves that both teams have that really struggle. And that's what island teams always lack in. Even Samoa. Everyone's talking about Samoa. They've got Anthony Milford as their 7 and Jerome Luai in the 6. Jerome Luai is not proven without Nathan Cleary, and Anthony Milford is not proven since 2015. BS Man says, no, they're always going to beat Fiji because Fiji doesn't have a decent spine for a while now. Absolutely too, but in the same sense, most of those guys were not playing that game either. Lizzie Arte says, what a name. Oh, yeah. Dennis says, Mo needs to develop. I agree, yeah. At least this will be good for him to develop, but I don't think Tongans want him to develop right now. You want to win the World Cup. You believe you can win the World Cup. So it's not really about developing for Tonga. It is about, seriously, just knuckling down and potentially winning this cup. You have the easiest side of the draw. Go and have a look at it, right? So you have Cook Islands, Papua New Guinea, Wales, and Tonga in this group, and your opposite group that will be playing as well is England, France, Greece, and Samoa, right? So if Tonga comes first and Samoa comes second, you guys play Samoa in the first knockout of the quarterfinals. If Tonga comes first and England comes second, you play England. Or, obviously, if Tonga comes second if Tonga comes second and Samoa comes first, you play Samoa. So you might be in line for one of the biggest games in rugby league history if Samoa will take on Tonga. If Samoa will take on Tonga that first week, that is going to break bloody records for numbers watched, I reckon. Because that'll be a knockout. Jason says, what are some areas you think PNG can improve after beaten by Kangaroos to improve to face Tonga? Oh, they got beaten by 60, but in the same sense, you got to remember there was a lot of players out. I think with Papua New Guinea, it does come down to the fact they don't have the spine, and this always is the islands, right? Australia has spine, New Zealand has spine, England has spine, nobody else does. Why? Because the islands are all about being big, brawny, and about being really physical. Papua New Guinea aren't even big, brawny, and physical, but they're just simply fit. They're actually smaller guys, but the muscle they've got on them, the toughness, the brutality they've got on them, they just run the ball as hard as they possibly can and don't care about their bodies. They're so passionate about their country that they just don't give a shit. And that's different to other guys like Australia, New Zealand, and England and whatnot, is that they're more conservative of their bodies for the longevity of their future. It just comes down to the halves area that teams like Papua New Guinea can't do anything too great, but the passion is not lacking. Charles says, would you take Samoa over Tonga? It's a good question, man. I think so. I think I would. I think right now I'd say Samoa look better right now. They look more convincing to me than Tonga. They did have their issues during the mid-season test against Cook Islands. However, they did still win by a good 40 points or 30 points over the Cook Islands. But there was no Luai. There was no Crichton. They were Brian To'o. They were playing for New South Wales at the time. I think right this second, Kane Delaney, I'd take Samoa. But honestly, it'll come down to what the group stages are like. It would come down right this second. I think I'd like that Samoan team a little bit more. But if Dave Fafita can keep playing like he did last night, it's going to be real tough for them to lose. I can tell you that much. Big Papa says, tough pick, Toko. Both teams live for each other despite who's on the team. Would be close, I reckon. Oh, it'll be a 2-point game. It'll be a 2-point game. Alfred says, Tonga vs Samoa will be the best game of the tournament. Samoa hasn't beaten Tonga since 2016. Yes, but in the same sense, you've had your prime Tonga at that time. This is prime Samoa. Samoa have never had a prime. Tonga had their prime from 2016 to about 2018 before COVID and whatnot. And then it has taken a bit of a hit with COVID. The regression in the last couple of years has been noticeable, but not like a massive drop-off, but it's been noticeable. Lamb on the PNG squad? No, Lamb's there. Lamb was there. 1 second here. Let's go to Papua New Guinea right now. Lachlan Lamb. Yeah, Lachlan Lamb's here. Right there, bang. Lachlan Lamb will be there. He'll be in the halves alongside Cole Labour, probably. Beesman, that's right. Charles says, I'll take England 1 and Samoa 2. It really comes down to that first game too. And let's go and have a look at that one. This is the last live preview we'll be doing, so we can go and have a look. So England play Samoa in that first game as well. This is a really, really exciting game here at St. James Park. You're probably back in England because they're at home, and they looked really good against Fiji yesterday. But I tell you what, don't underestimate Samoa, man. Don't underestimate them. Fuck off, says everyone's sleeping on Tonga. Tonga by 30 against PNG, and I'll be here to remind everyone. Love though, enjoy your night. Well, look, fair enough. If it happens, it's not a crazy deal surprising, but in the same sense, like, you've got to remember as well that you got pumped by New Zealand when you played them a couple of months back. Like, don't forget that. Like, I understand that you want to believe in your team, and I understand that you really want to back in and say that they're guaranteed winners, but you've also got to recognise and be realistic about the fact that there is still issues in this Tonga team. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, obviously, guys, follow me on Instagram, BKR Sport, I posted a snapshot, a little snippet from last night's stream where I said, okay, it's a good result here for Tonga. They've scored 50 points, and they'll take the points. But if you actually watch the game, you know there is still issues with the team. There is still issues with the spine. There's still issues with attack, and there's still issues with the errors, right? They took on France. That's France. That's not Australia. That's not England. That's not Samoa. That's not New Zealand. And if you want to talk about New Zealand pumped them by like 30 a couple months back, or 40. And Joe Manu ran for 400 metres. 400 metres against Tonga. He ran for 400 metres against Tonga. That's a lot of meters. That's a lot of meters, lads. So, I get it. Like I said, I get you believing in your team, but you've also got to recognise that there is still a lot of instability in this Tonga team right now. Debbie says, I believe Tonga will at least get to the semi-finals. You've got to hope you don't play England. You've got to hope you don't... Well, then again, you'll probably play England in the semi-final anyway, so it's either way. But in the same sense, I really feel like England's probably going to at least get to the semi, so you've got to hope that you don't play them. So what you've got to hope is that Samoa lose to England, and then Samoa play second. And you come first, obviously. Beesmans, I think Samoa will upset England. It's possible. It's possible. Lizzie Arte Harlow says, I don't know about Tonga's team. They are very young. They are super young, but in the same sense, very explosive. But if they get down, it's going to be very difficult to see them pull themselves back up. But in the same sense, Tonga, when they get Taumalolo back in that game 3, it'll really rejuvenate them as well. It'll give them a second kick, a second win, man. That's what I look forward to. Alfred says, 9 debutants versus the Kiwis and Wolf not there, hence the loss. Oh, I don't know about that, man. He's still lost by a good amount, but in the same sense, I understand what you're saying. Matthew Cortez says, yeah, but when New Zealand beat Tonga in the mid-year test in 2019, they did... No, this was this year I'm talking about. This was this year. But I'll read the rest of your comment. When New Zealand beat Tonga in the mid-year test in 2019, they did the same thing and Tonga beat the Kangaroos. I should have kept reading your comment. And Great Britain's later that year. Also, the game was 26-6. They didn't get pumped by 40. So, okay, they got beaten by 20. If you watch that game, you know that game was well and truly over and dominant by New Zealand. Okay, so they didn't win by 40, but that's the... That's how I remember the game, right? So if the score was 26-6, fair enough, not by 40, but effectively, the way I consider that game and look back at that game, I remember streaming it, Tonga looked horrific. They looked really, really bad. So am I saying that Tonga can't win the World Cup? Absolutely not. I'm backing Tonga in to go far. But I also note there are definitely still issues with the team that you've got to consider. You can't go into, like, for example, Australia. Australia still have issues. They have the least issues of the lot, but Australia still have issues. New Zealand absolutely have issues still. Right? But those two teams you're confident in. And I'm confident Tonga to still get through those issues. But you've got to recognise the fact that they do still have that. Jason says, I will not be surprised if PNG beat Tonga. I think it will be surprising, but I also won't be surprised. But I still got Tonga to at least get to the semis. I do. I've got Tonga to get to the semis. And I think that it just comes down to the halves, man. It's really hard to read. It really is. It comes down to the halves. They need Amon, and they really need to have Amon and Lola here get something good going there. They do. I don't know, man. This is the hardest group for me to read in regards to... Well, this is the hardest team for me to read, Tonga, because they could win the World Cup, but they could also tank. But they could win the World Cup. But they could also tank. I'm just saying it. I know that Tongans won't like hearing that, but I give you my realistic opinion. You guys know this channel. If you're new to this channel, obviously hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. But you guys know me. I'll give you my realistic opinion. If you don't like it, that's why we have the chat here, so I can go back and forth. If I didn't know what I was talking about, then I wouldn't be able to respond to your comments like I do. And I'm not saying that I'm right by knowing what I'm talking about, but that's why we have decent conversations here, because I'm happy to hear what you're saying, but I also will say this is why I believe what I believe. But yes, man, so I think Tonga and Samoa will be stronger after the pool stages, better combinations by them. Yeah, but they can play each other. They're looking likely to play each other too, because England are favourites for Pool A. England are favourites for Pool A. Tonga are favourites for Pool D. Samoa are favourites for second, and Papua New Guinea are favourites for second. So that means that Tonga plays Samoa first week knockout. Kane Delaney says best prop pairing in the comp. Probably New Zealand. I think it's probably New Zealand, to be honest with you, because their forwards are ridiculous. We spoke about that yesterday. I'd probably go New Zealand, because look at their forwards. Their front rowers that we went through. Look at the bench. Look at the entire forwards they've brought with them. Warrior Hargraves, Joe Tarpanay, Who else? Isaac, kind of. He's more of a lock. Moses Leota. Unbelievable player he is. Fisher Harris. Apparently these guys are getting rested. By the way, the Panthers boys are getting rested for the first game. No, Kenny. Jesse, Brum, and Nelson and Solomona. I'd probably say Kiwis. Yeah, Fisher Harris and Tarpanay as a front row pairing is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Sips Tarea says underdogs in the Cook Islands. I don't think so, Sips. I would love to say so, but I don't think so. I think Cook Islands look pretty average. I think they'll be third. So I'll give you my predictions, guys. So my prediction for Pool D, I'm going to have to go one Tonga. I think that after last night, yesterday, I was prepared to say Papua New Guinea get first. Yesterday, before that game, I was prepared. Even though Tonga looked okay yesterday, I'm pretty happy after looking at how they played and what I believe will happen when they get back Jason Tamalolo for that second win. I'll probably go Tonga first. Papua New Guinea second, very close second, and then we'll go. But I just want to throw it out there. I'm not unbelievably crazily surprised if Papua New Guinea did get first there. It comes down to that first game, which is my most anticipated game of the lot. And then 3, I've got Cook Islands for sure. And then 4, I've got Wales. Easy. That's easy for me. Random Black Guy says, I reckon they could possibly stick Isaiah Kato in the halves. That's what I said. He had a very good game against France. Random Black Guy, I've been saying this the entire time. By the way, nice name, man. No. But I agree. I think Isaiah Kato should be in the 7 over Amon. I think he should be. Kane Delane says the Fafita tries changed my opinion. I think you're probably right there as well because Dave looks like he's in for a big tournament. Now, guys, on Tuesday, I'm going to come out with a video with the players to look out for in this World Cup, right, for every single team. I'll have one player from each team, the one player to look out for. If you don't think I'm putting Dave Fafita there, you're drunk. Firstly, I know Dave well personally. Secondly, he's a Titans player and I'm a Titans fan. And thirdly, if you saw last night, wowee. Wowee. Oliver Samson Marley says, thoughts on Tonga's 4-pack. I think Tonga's 4-pack is fantastic. I think it's fantastic, but it's not as good as it has been in the past. But I think that their 4-pack is fantastic. I think their front rowers here, Adam Fanor, Mawaki Fodawaka, and Takiaho, those 3 interchanging have the ability to be the best 4-pack in the comp. I'm not even talking about the back row right now. I'm talking about, if in total, you'd probably say New Zealand have the best forward pack. Second, probably Tonga. Third, probably Australia. In my opinion. Arua Habuka says, who is the better spine halves, PNG versus Tonga? Better spine, you're probably going, well, you're going with Tonga. Well, that's because we know them, though. I'd say Tonga, and as specifically the halves, it would be Tonga. But in the same sense, it's not convincing. I think your backline, honestly, I'm going to have to say something pretty crazy here. I think Papua New Guinea's backline could be better than Tonga's backline, but I think the forward line of Tonga slap them. I think the forward line slaps it, but I honestly think that the backline of Papua New Guinea could be the most underrated backline of the competition. Like, you go back and have a look at it. I think it's a crazy thing to say, though. I will throw that out there. If you guys don't agree with me, I can understand where you're coming from. But you got Justin Olam there, you got Xavier Coates. Let's go back and have a look at it again. Like, this is Alex Johnson fullback, Xavier Coates and one wing. Oh, man. Like, it's already looking bloody spicy. Papua New Guinea. Yeah, that's probably my biggest call. Here we go. Alex Johnson, Xavier Coates, Justin Olam, Andy McDonald, and Jimmy Nutalek. Oh, I think Jimmy Nutalek is the one who lets it a little bit down. But overall, like, that's a good backline, man. That's a good backline. Even though Nate McDonald, I can't believe he's only 28 years old. I can't believe it. Yeah, Alex Johnson, Xavier Coates, Justin Olam, Nate McDonald, and Jimmy Nutalek. I really like that backline. I do. Their halves are just average, though. Super average. Oh, so they are going to go with Edwin Ipape as the number 9 over Wartovo. So is Wartovo in the team? Oh, so Watson Boas won't play. He's in the extended line. Is Wartovo even here? Wow, they're only going to have Mackenzie off the bench. So Wellington Albert with Sylvester Nama was the front row pairing. So it's going to be Mackenzie Yeh off the bench, actually. Wow, I know he's a Titans legend, Ryan example. Of course, he's a Titans legend, the old Nene. But I think that's going to do it for today, guys. We've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes now. I hope you have enjoyed. Actually, I'll read these last 2 comments. Matthew Cortez says, Hopuade, Tupo, Talakai, Panasini, Siona Katoa, probably going to the back line. Siona Katoa will be wing. Kafusi, Tamalolo, Havili, and Luke didn't play yesterday, so they actually... The team actually played pretty good with their B team. Kind of. But in the same sense, you're right in regards to the players out. You are right in regards to the players out, but... Beers Man says, what Leo chose Kiwi? Damn, I thought he was playing for Samoa. Suddenly I'm not confident with Samoa beating England. Why not? If you quickly go and have a look at their team again. We're going into other teams already. Guys, if you want to see my prediction for other groups, like I said, there's Pool A, Pool B, and Pool C all up in different videos. But like, look at their forwards here. It's ridiculous. They've got Royce Hunt. They've got Hamlin Ueli. They've got Josh Instagram blocker Aloye. They've got Papali'i. They've got Junior Paulo. Like, jeez, this is firing. Absolutely firing. Got Martin Tapau. They've got a great forward pack, man. They've got a great forward pack. Australians let all us rejoicing on what's that about. So Australia players, Australia Panthers getting rested or all Panthers players? Just Australians. No one else really gives a shit. No other team is. But guys, like I said, we're going to jump off it for now. Tomorrow there'll be a video of my preview of who wins the World Cup and what teams do well. And further on Tuesday there is going to be a video about the individual players, one player from each team that I believe is the guy to look out for. And then don't forget, literally every single game, guys, every single game of the World Cup, I will be here live streaming, talking to you guys live as the game is going on. But I appreciate you as usual. Obviously, smack that thumbs up button. If you're new around here, hit that big old red subscribe button. We are super close to 20,000 right now. And yeah, look, I appreciate it. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.